I hit the button. There we go. Greetings and welcome to the regular Piqua City Commission meeting Tuesday, May 6, 2020. We're going to start the session by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we will have the roll call.
Commissioner Hines?
Here.
Commissioner Grissom?
Here.
Mayor Lee?
Here?
Commissioner Pearson?
Here.
Commissioner Foat?
Here.
All right. Now we have a couple proclamations that we need to read. The first one is for Bike Month, and I won't read all of that, but just be it known that the month of May this year is Bike Month. And the second proclamation is for the Officer of the Year for the Piqua Police Department. And I've got some guests here that will, if they'll come forward, we'll read this and present it. Jeremy, you don't want to come with her?
She's doing a great job.
She is doing a great job. Yes. When you get to my age, you gotta have these cheaters. Sorry, or else I won't be able to read it. All right. Whereas there are more than 900,000 sworn law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Piqua Police Department. And whereas there have been 61,995 assaults against law enforcement officers in 2018, resulting in approximately 17,902 injuries. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 21,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty, including 3 members of the Piqua Police Department: Lieutenant Noah Studebaker, Patrolman Jan Mulder II, and Detective Robert Taylor. And whereas the names of this dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. And whereas 307 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 135 officers killed in 2019 and 172 officers killed in previous years. Excuse me. Whereas the service and sacrifice of Ohio officers killed in the line of duty were to be honored during the Ohio Peace Officers Memorial Ceremony at 11 a.m. on Thursday, May 7, 2020. And whereas the service and sacrifice of local officers killed in the line of duty were to be honored during the Miami County Law Enforcement Officers Memorial at noon on Wednesday, May 6, 2020. And whereas both ceremonies have been canceled for 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas Friday, May 15, 2020 is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Piqua formally designates May 10th through the 16th, 2020 as Police Week in the City of Piqua, Ohio, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. And witness, I just want to say congratulations to you, Officer Boggs, for obtaining Officer of the Year. I'll present that, and I will elbow you. Congratulations. And who's accompanying you here? A couple lieutenants?
Yeah, Lieutenant Rodriguez and Lieutenant Weber.
All right. Thank you. As a former member, I know all you guys are hardworking and appreciate everything you do for us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
All right.
Congratulations.
All right. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda.
One item on the consent agenda tonight, it's the approval of the minutes from April 21st, 2020, regular Piqua City Commission meeting.
All right.
I make a motion to approve the approval of the minutes of the April 21st, 2020 regular commission meeting.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, next on the new business, resolution number R-69-20.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Tech Engineering, Inc. for the engineering design services for the US 36 Safety Improvement Project.
Ms. Habner will provide the staff report.
Thank you. This legislation would allow for the city to hire a design engineer to proceed with the safety funding that we received last year through the Ohio Department of Transportation. 2 meetings ago, I brought before you the legislation with the Ohio Department of Transportation for that grant. And in general, the project will consist of signal retiming from the Scott Drive Center Court intersection through Keenly Drive. And it will also include some replacing of the signal heads with the polycarbonate signal heads, putting back plates on the signals to make them more visible when it's bright and sunny, and some ADA accommodations and restriping. We do have funding for 100% of the construction cost. We were hoping to get all the engineering paid for. We did budget $20,000 in the budget for this year, but we will only need about $9,000 of that. So we're asking your permission tonight to have the city manager enter into an agreement with TEC Engineering for this design work.
Commissioners, I'll take questions. This is all grant funded, this part of it.
The design, we will have about $9,000 in local funds, but the rest of the design is grant funded as well as 100% of the construction.
And can we afford this at this time?
Can.
All right. I had gotten a phone call prior to coming in about a subject complaining about discretionary spending of funds. And I said, we've eliminated all discretionary. This is part of a project that's been ongoing, and this is just in furtherance of that.
And we will give you further information on some of the funds that curtailed in spending during my report.
Great. Any other questions?
Did I hear you say we budgeted 20,000 and we're only going to use 9,000 of that?
Correct. We were not sure what our local percentage would be, and we were fortunate enough to get additional grant funding. So our local percentage is only around 9,200 versus the 20 that we budgeted.
Great, thank you.
That is great. Thank you very much.
I was going to say the same thing. I think that's great. The amount of impact that it'll have safety-wise and for the amount of expenditures to get that much covered by grants, that's phenomenal. Thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion if there are no other questions.
I move we adopt resolution number R-69-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is resolution number R-70-20.
A resolution awarding a contract to Milligan Construction Company for the Scarborough Drive Extension Project.
Ms. Habner.
On April 27th, we bid this project. Well, bids were open for this project, and we received 13 bids, which is, I think, one of the most bids we've received on a project since I've been at the city. But anyways, out of those 13 bids, Milligan Construction Company was the apparent low bidder. And this would be for the extension of Scarborough Drive, approximately 400 lineal foot. And I think there's a drawing of that on your screen now. It would include the installation of new curb, gutter, storm sewer, and water main. And we also did include an alternate bid to resurface the existing portion of Scarborough Drive from Country Club Road to the proposed extension. And with the bids being favorable, we recommend the awarding of that as well. We budgeted $253,000 for the base bid, which was the street extension, and the resurfacing, and our total construction cost with a 10% contingency is only $241,800. So we're well under what we budgeted for both, so we're recommending the base bid as well as the resurfacing be approved.
Any questions?
And that says that includes the 10% contingency in there as well?
Correct.
With that 241?
Yep,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And it's still under.
Yeah, the bids were very favorable with that many bidders. It was a good time to bid it.
Any questions? Nope. I'll take a motion then.
I'll make a motion to authorize resolution number R-70-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And just as a follow-up comment, we will get all that money back
Yes.
from the TIF financing over a period of time.
I saw that. Thank you very much. All right, so next on the agenda is resolution number R-71-20.
A resolution accepting annexation of certain real property known as DG AMP LLC Solar 81.0679 acres.
Mr. Smeezing.
Thank you. This relates to the Manual Solar Field project. When we initially spoke with the developer about instigating the work they wanted to do there, there was an understanding that once the work was completed, that they would annex the property into the city limits, and they're fulfilling that obligation at this time. In your packet, you'll see the annexation petition that was approved by the County Commission of Board of Commission on March 3rd. And per the Ohio Revised Code provisions that govern this type of annexation, it has to sit for 60 days before the city commission then can accept or reject the annexation. So this is that last step in the process where you all are being asked to accept the annexation.
Any questions from the commission? This is at zero cost,
There's no cost to the city.
and it's part of the overall plan.
Yeah, the asset would be annexed into the city limits. Yeah.
All right, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to accept resolution number R-71-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And the final resolution for the evening is resolution number R-72-20.
A resolution authorizing the law director to petition the Board of County Commissioners of Miami County, Ohio, for a change in the boundary lines of Washington Township.
Mr. Smeezing.
So this is the housekeeping item that goes with annexations that occur in the Washington Township area. Our annexation agreement with Washington Township requires that we detach those properties from the township boundaries once they've been annexed. So this is that step that we take following annexations to make that happen.
Any questions from the commissioner? All right, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-72-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we are now in the public comment section. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the city commission regarding agenda items. As of, we're still doing the YouTube broadcasting. Questions had to be submitted by noon today, and at this point, we only have one question. It's from Bill Jacqua, 607 North Sunset Drive. His question is that there are about 2,000 health departments in the United States, about one per county nationwide. Piqua is extremely unique in that we pay a lot of money to have our own health department. I am 65 years old. I am healthy with no pre-existing conditions and require no medications. Many tax-paying seniors in this town do have health issues. Many of the chain stores don't require their employees to wear masks. Please have our health department enforce masks. It's the law. Locals comply. Mr. City Manager?
Yes, I would respond by just saying that the Piqua Health Department has responded to 84 business complaints and investigated all of them since March 23rd. If there is a specific complaint about a particular business, the health department will investigate, but we have to have someone to go investigate. So if there's anybody that is saying that they're not in compliance, then we just need to know who it is so that we can investigate. I will make one more comment about part of the comment tonight was about we pay a lot of money to have our own health department. We're very fortunate to have our own health department, but we actually pay less to have our own Piqua Health Department as compared to what it would have cost to pay Miami County to provide health department services for the city. That has been priced out over the years, and it's always been less expensive for us to do our own department. Plus, we get tremendous service from our Piqua Health Department, and they've done a fantastic job during this pandemic of investigating everything and providing information to businesses who have contacted wanting to know what they needed to do. So they've been working around the clock, answering questions and trying to help all the businesses and individuals who ask those type of questions. So
I tend to agree with you. I have sent you and Amy, as far as health department questions, numerous questions that I've received, and they've answered every one. I was able to respond to all the people that have asked those questions, and she works around the clock, and I've told her several times I appreciate the job that she does and that the whole health department does, and the city workers are fantastic, and the health department is one of the stars, so we appreciate that. So, all right, so next would be city manager's report.
yes, we wanted tonight to just share with you, I know there's been a lot in the paper about different municipalities curtailing their budgets or cutting their budgets and so forth. And so I've asked Cindy just to give an update on what we've done and from the get-go of when we saw this coming. So I'll let her give you the details of the costs that we've curtailed during this time period.
Thank you. As far as the 2020 budget, we've already identified almost $2.5 million of capital projects and expenditures that are now either on hold, delayed, or actually cut from the 2020 budget. In addition, all departments are further reviewing areas to cut or reduce. Their recommendations are expected and will be considered in the near future. They need some time to look. One of the things that they do is they look at where are their budgets year to date, and then they try to project out where they're going to be in the next few months with regular expenses versus some expenses that may be timed later or that can be delayed even further into the new year. So we've asked them to take some time and closely review all of those. And in addition to that, we're also reviewing where the revenue sources are. And so once we can better match up those revenue sources and where they'll be coming in at, then we'll again look at where our expenses are. And I would anticipate, in years past, we've not always done a reappropriation, but it's very likely that we'll be coming to you late summer or early fall with a reappropriation before we get into next budget year.
Well, my only response to that is that though we may have known that, the citizens didn't know, a lot of them, and that's as plain as it gets, explaining to everybody that from the beginning, and Gary has said this before, and we've said this up here before, that they were taking the budget into account and watching it very closely. You said exactly how we've done that and how much we've got, and I appreciate that, and now the citizens will know that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for keeping us abreast of that.
That concludes my report.
All right. So let's start the opposite end this time with Commissioner Foat.
Put me on the spot here.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
First of all, I'd like to thank all the citizens that have applied for our committees and boards throughout the city. You know, this is my first year sitting in as a commissioner and being able to review all the packets that we've had put in front of us. You know, the outpouring for the boards from what I see is absolutely awesome right now. I don't know if it's been like that in the past. I can't speak to that, but however, I can speak to the present, and I'm absolutely thrilled about that. Even if you are not selected for that board or committee, but you can still put time in as a volunteer, please do that as well. Once again, thank you all for that outpouring. A few things that I'd like to talk about tonight, just two things. I try to keep my ear to what's going on within the city, and there's been a lot of discussion lately amongst the citizens in regards to the Fort Piqua Plaza. I had a chance to talk with the city manager this week and, just kind of wrap my head around it as well. And understanding that the expenditures are not from city tax dollars, those tax dollars, they're not allocated to that. The Fort Piqua Plaza, that was updated and renovated by monies that come directly from the Fort Piqua Plaza operational costs. So to say that the city's got thousands and thousands of tax dollars into this, we absolutely do not have tax dollars in this. This has all come from the expenditures and the operation costs for the plaza area. So, just rest reassured that the city's not putting tax dollars into that. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is when businesses, come to the city of Piqua and how we go about doing that. One thing that's circled back around is the Casey's gas station and where they wanted to be put at. Understanding that not everything gets put out all the time for all the citizens and even for the commissioners. We don't get all the information all the time. But Casey's was given different opportunities, different sites that they could locate to. And sometimes those just don't come to fruition for the company or for the city at that time. Just realize that your planning commission, the development commission, the city commissioners, they do everything that they can do and what we can do to get new businesses to come here. So when it comes down to that, just please understand that the city's working for the community as a whole to get the businesses in here and get them in spots that are correct for that type of business, and also for the city to put them in a spot that's good for us. And that's all I have to say.
I agree with you. Thank you very much. Ma'am?
Yes. Well, this is National Bike Month, and I wanted to remind everybody to dust off your bike and get out and ride and enjoy our beautiful bike path. The other thing I wanted to bring up was that Friends of the Piqua Parks Committee met today, and I joined them. And they are working on the Route 36 entryway into Piqua on the north and the south slopes. There have been some complaints about weeds and trees and edging, but they did meet with the landscaper today, and you're going to see lots of improvements, and it might take 6 to 8 weeks yet, but things are coming along, and you'll see it as soon as the weather improves enough for things to develop.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining that group and keeping us abreast of what's going on, and their willingness. Thank them for willing to do that, and invest in that.
Yes.
We do need to look good.
We do.
And they do a good job of making us
Key.
look good.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Commissioner Grissom.
I don't have a lot to say. I wanted to echo what Commissioner Folk said when it came to the board members. I was really impressed to see a lot of the people that were applying, getting involved. I mean, that's fantastic. That's what we want. In addition, I know there's still been a lot going on safety-wise. Stay safe out there. It is National Nurses Week as well, too, so commend your nurses, say thank you, and really just stay as a community, work together, and we're going to get through a lot of this as well, too.
You're awesome. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, you're next, Ms. Hines.
The only thing I have to say is, we're all looking for different signs to see that things are moving in the direction we want them to move, and I'm excited to say that some of our small businesses downtown are opening, and that's exciting. I was able to visit quite a few of our small businesses this past week. I know Mary Beth at Hallmark is doing appointments, so you can make an appointment to go in, especially with Mother's Day and things like that are coming in. You can make an appointment to go into Hallmark for that. I know other small businesses can't stop running. Barclays and other businesses on our main street are starting to find ways to open back up in the midst of where we are finding ourselves. They are being creative, which is what we all have to do. But I think for us as citizens, for us as a community, when we see these signs happening, that reminds us that we are getting out from under this, and we are moving forward. So for me, that's really exciting to see. That's all I have.
All righty, thank you very much. All right, and I don't have a whole bunch to say, other than the fact that we appreciate everybody who is willing to participate in some of our groups and committees. It takes participation from the citizens to make these things happen, and we appreciate all that you guys are willing to do. Appreciate, again, all the city workers, and they are essential. They make our life possible, and they made it very, very bearable during the quarantine period, and so I want to thank them for what they do and continue to do. I myself, I have a mask that, or a bandana that it looks like a mask, but I tend to wear it when I go out. And if you are going out and want to stay safe, it's recommended. It's not ordered at this time. Am I correct in saying
You are
that?
correct.
By the governor. So, and it looks like we are starting to crawl from this deep, dark sleep that we've been in, and we want people to work together and come together. And if you can visit a business in the downtown area, please do so, because they are coming out. I've been getting some advertisements that I re-advertise on my Facebook page. And so I go out and visit and try to frequent the businesses as much as possible. Let's bring them back up to strength and crawl out of this and get back to somewhat normal, but let's do it safely. So, and with that said, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll
Second.
Moved and seconded, we are adjourned. All right.
Yep.